Yeah, well said.
Yeah, vibes good for C9, especially after that game 1 being a victory.
He was talking about not being good at the beginning of the split. They beat FlyQuest. He had a really good standing and positioning phase, so like his standards are just high.
Yeah.
When you're used to winning, Raz.
Fair.
Anything other than the top is gonna feel.
They lost to
like
us,
defeat.
actually. They lost to us.
Oh, that's true.
They lost to us. Yeah,
That is true.
Hey, that's kind of why they were bad during that time. But then to lose to 100 Thieves, holy.
You are in their heads, rent-free after that.
Exactly, yeah. Those days.
But it's crazy. And as a reminder, it's finals weekend, so for them, whenever you talk to Blaber will always think about like, hey, what motivates you or why do you do this is to win championships.
Yeah.
He was there in summer 2023, lost that finals versus versus Contractz.
Energy, Energy.
It was Contractz.
He is. That's a true statement right
Nick
there.
Smith is bald.
And there he is.
There's the proof.
There's the proof.
Proof on screen.
What a Chad. The guy looks like a Chad, I'm not going to lie.
But to highlight the point, I mean, it's funny how we heard.
That's a highlight?
That's a highlight. No, the previous point of Blaber saying that they weren't great at the beginning. They were second seed coming in to
approving the
playoffs.
draft.
Still have not fully, beaten like their seeding coming into playoffs. They've always performed as about that or below in playoffs over the last couple of splits. So they're looking to buck that trend this weekend.
So I feel like one thing, after watching that first game, that's going to be very important for a draft is for both teams to get mobility and good CC. Because both teams were making picks.
Yep.
And it felt like all the swings were off of, whichever team got that pick. So as long as they can draft some tools to be able to do that, I feel like it'll be good for this series.
Is a very good pick tool. The fact that it's been left up, I think it's a really strong first pick here. Of course, it's just the best AD carry on the
Notably,
patch.
Azir. I was thinking about Azir as well.
Azir has mobility and CC and scaling.
Yeah.
True.
God Emperor champ.
Also, we know Varus is not something Shopify played a lot with. It was one of the notable champions that Bvoy didn't really play during the regular season. He was much more of the Ezreal side of that kind of like handshake where they would give both up.
Also, one of the better Lucian teams, right? Like, he's gone Lucian Nami, he can play Lucian Emilio. Like, I think they're willing to give up the Varus. I'm interested to see if it is going to be the Lucian matchup or what direction Shopify end up going for.
The Wukong?
Yeah.
Is he even good right now? I feel
Maybe
like
it's Jhin?
Don't see this champion much.
I got bad news for you. I don't think C9's picking Jhin there, at least not for this game.
Yeah, definitely not
They
Wukong.
seem to be a C9 fan.
Oh.
Raz might be right, though. And you definitely are correct with Bvoy. Their lower bracket run, the last couple times, he has played Lucian. He has been very aggressive.
Yeah.
Which is very different, honestly, from how Bvoy started the split. As they kind of, switch off of the Nami.
They're playing with us.
But even just that mentality of him being more aggressive and actually getting a lot of damage down, pre-team fights and in the team fights was very big. But they make the pivot here.
Yeah, the Sylas into the Azir.
I don't understand what why not glorp means, but I appreciate the enthusiasm regardless.
Emo farming.
Yeah.
It's an emo farming.
Unironically. Now, I'm a little concerned for Shopify. I mean, going Kai'Sa, seeing the Varus, and of course, I'm assuming, you're picking your support outright. You're going to lose Shove bot lane. It's like guaranteed. And early picking your Azir, like, okay, the Azir, the counter pick coming in here from Loki. I'm just interested in what the response is going to be in 4-5 for them, just because I think they're going to be losing Shove a little bit. I want to see what the jungle pick is going to be because they're saving that.
Yeah. I feel like they can go Gnar. Like, Shopify can go Gnar. And that's like Thanatos' best champion by far. Because they just went Sylas too. And I feel like C9 did a pretty good job at just like taking the Gnar pick away from Thanatos. Because you cannot play Gnar into Sylas. It's like not good. So pretty good for C9 so far, I'd say.
Yeah, if you are Fudge right now and you're making the same conclusions, then what are you thinking for the Shopify kind of answer there?
The Shopify answer, I'd probably just say, maybe like Sion this game doesn't seem bad. I feel like Sion is actually pretty good into Wukong and Sylas. I would be looking for Sion, like a tank for Shopify, just because they have like a bunch of like carries on their team already. So definitely like a tank. You know?
It does sound very good because it does go with like they're already showing a lot of hard engage, but like you're saying, they need some front line. They need some beef, beef to go with it.
Yeah.
I'd say Shopify are already kind of making Zven's job kind of difficult. Like it does seem like the Varus is going to have a difficult time with all of the dive that they're showing
they
here.
took it away actually.
Wow, preemptive steal.
Who's the, I would go Aatrox here if I was Fudge. His Aatrox is very good too, so I would definitely just lock it in.
And you like that matchup too?
I like the Aatrox side, yeah.
Okay,
100%.
interesting.
Yeah.
And this is even without the extra buffs that are on live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, from Aatrox?
Yeah.
He just got buffed?
Yeah, on live. Get in there.
Do you not read the patch notes?
Nah, I read the patch notes.
Okay,
but, like,
all right.
hey, every now and then.
You're in off season, yeah.
You don't have to read any of the notes. Just play the champ. There you go.
play the champ.
You got more healing,
Coach
buddy.
locks it in for you. You're good.
Sounds like golden glue, I'm not gonna lie. Just like, hey, just play your game, you know, just like relax, you'll be fine.
Just play the video game. There you go.
Well, it is locked in, so it's Aatrox versus the Sion, and then Skarner as jungler for Contractz. So they do have a front line now between those two.
Oh, yeah. They definitely do.
Ooh, Vulcan Bard! We're in for a treat now.
Bard's pretty good.
Which comp do you prefer between the two?
I'm not gonna lie, I honestly prefer Shopify's comp. I feel like they have pretty good matchups all around. Like, they should have 3 winning lanes this game. Maybe like 2 winning lanes, not bot lane. So I would definitely say Shopify.
All right, Sniper says Shopify. Let's hear from the casters, because they're ready to hop into game number 2.
Well, I like the sound of that. You know, Shopify wins this game. We're going even further. We'll see.
Yeah, we get more games. I will say the Sylas angle, as we were discussing, was really good. Even when they locked it in, it already had good ults to steal in Azir and Neeko, and also any engage that Shopify would lock in would be good against that as well. So Loki's going to look to have a lot of success. My biggest question mark is how effective is Thanatos going to be on this Sion compared to one of his normal carry champs?
Non-subscribers, we will see you in 30 seconds.
And I think it's interesting you bring that up, right? Because I still can't get watching KT-T1 out of my mind. I'm sad about KT. But also because there's a Sion level 1 cheese in that game. That was pretty interesting. And one of the like old school ones that we hadn't seen in a while, right? So I'm curious to see if Thanatos will go for something like that.
Yeah, it would be interesting. That was if you missed the game last night. And it came in just level 1, started in the side brush, and was actually able to find a fully channeled Q, got them first blood. They actually lost the game after that, but still was a nice play, and then she just TP straight up towards top lane. I do think you can go for plays like that more in the matchup that he was in because he was against an Ornn. Versus if you're playing against an Aatrox who can have the advantage in some of these 1v1s, then if you spend your TP level 1 to go for a play like that, your bottom lane better carry because your lane could be tough afterwards.
Yeah, it looks like pretty defensive level 1s by both teams. Contractz and Blaber just going to try and get a little bit of vision of each other unless Thanatos worked his way down. Contractz would be a little bit vulnerable in that bush, but doesn't look like anything's going to happen.
Yeah, it just looks like kind of a defensive fan from both teams. Oh.
Yeah, Contractz is going to get spotted here as Blaber gets a little bit of damage down onto him and is able to get the ward on the blue. It's interesting. You know, I don't know if you want to call Galio pure tank or not, but like when I think of the traditional pure tanks, you know, there's only one that Thanatos has played so far, and it is the Ornn. He did lose on that. That was against FlyQuest, of course. You know, as far as his actual 1v1 was playing pretty well, you know, playing very aggressively against Bvoy, but was punished heavily in that by Inspired. So it'll be interesting to see Thanatos on the Sion, how he's going to perform, and also what kind of build he goes for, because I know Bvoy and some players are really big fan of more Bruiser Sion, where you're going towards Titanic and things like this early, and a lot of other players in Pro just still build pure tank.
For sure, and if I'm looking at the junglers here as well, Blaber was able to push out and get this ward on a Contractz, and it's really interesting actually the trajectory these two players have had, because Contractz was a C9 jungler before Blaber went to Worlds. 2018 is where things definitely changed. Contractz went to Golden Guardians, bottomed out. Meanwhile, Blaber's winning Rookie of the Split and goes all the way to Worlds semifinals. 2020 was really peak C9, peak Blaber. They won his first title. He won MVP. They won 17-1, won the title. But then in 2022, it's Contractz getting his next shot while Blaber's still succeeding. But Contractz gets a little bit of revenge in 2023, upsetting C9 in summer finals, and their story continues today.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing about both of these junglers going up against each other is we've also had, you know, a lot of the rent-free jokes and the kind of Blaber talking about how difficult of a jungler Contractz can be to go up against. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that they've done a good job, right, warding out where his path is going to be. So they had that ward here. Earlier on, they had that ward up that they were able to place after kind of chasing him back. So, yeah, they tracking him early especially after he was looking for some of those early opportunities, wasn't necessarily punished for it really early on in game 1. Good tracking from C9.
And it's interesting, just go back to kind of the little graphics that we've watched. I mean, Contractz basically, like, the career that Blaber had was the career that Contractz expected to have. You know, with his debut, he came in, he was this really aggressive jungler, had a lot of success with Cloud9 immediately, and he spoke about, you know, after he left Cloud9, because he chose to leave Cloud9 because of, you know, a salary thing, he was talking about how he was so confident he was going to have that success that, you know, he was overconfident and didn't have that success on Golden Guardians, got sent down to Academy, had to earn his way back in. So his career trajectory is so different than Blaber, who kind of, you know, had early success, you know, won an MVP, won a number of titles, been with Cloud9 this whole time. And Contractz has really had to fight to get back to this point where he is competing for titles. And as a result, I think has a really large appreciation for the position that he's now in.
And speaking of junglers, and Blaber specifically, guess who got crabs this game?
Blaber. However, double crabs so far 0-1 this series.
True.
Oh,
So
worrying
you
trend.
never know. You never know. This was like the perfect double crab game for Blaber, though, where he full cleared into double crab, into being able to cycle his Raptors and his Krugs. So he's on the fast track to level 6.
The 10 camp clear.
It's a wonderful thing when you're a jungler.
Feels very good.
Your lanes don't die to any ganks. You get both crabs, and you get to cycle 1.5 rotations of your jungle. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, he's going to be in a great spot. I just always love pointing out the crab fight, right? Just because it is now synonymous, I'd say, with Blaber as a player. As we see this wave getting pushed in mid, and Fudge pushing up on this top side. I am also curious to see Thanatos on this Sion. I think in game 1, we did see him coordinating really, really well with the team, especially with that flank. I think it's something he's improved a lot on as a player. And so I'm curious to see what kind of style of Sion he is going to bring into these team fights, kind of like what you were talking about, Isaac.
Yeah, the question to me is always not can he press the buttons well? Like, yes, of course, mechanically, Sion very easily. He can press the buttons well. The question to me is always, you know, do you know your role in every different situation? When you are mostly a carry player, when you're playing solo, you're spamming carry games, you know, do you know if you should be diving or peeling? Do you know if you should flank or join the team? Do you know if you need to push out top or walk down first? You know, like all of these more kind of specific situations where you don't have as much practice, that is really where you can see the experience pay off for really good tank players.
I mean, the biggest thing that I'm going to be watching for is how is he going to position himself in team fights? Because when carry players play Sion, to me, they actually lane really well. He's a very strong laner, but they will then go for carries in team fights. Like, you'll see the Sion ult and, like, try and drift into Bvoy or Palafox and go for these solo kills. I've seen it from so many different carry top laners. Sometimes it works. If they're really far ahead, it works amazingly. But if you're just in a neutral state, like, keeping that space, the correct amount of space between himself and his damage dealers, so that when he's getting hit, his damage dealers can deal damage. It's the most, like, acquired skill for tank players.
Nice little dodge there by Loki as he's able to slide back and avoid the Palafox ultimate.
And meanwhile, C9 is going to be able to take down that first Drake. And we have Thanatos putting a little bit of pressure on this bot side turret, as Blaber and Vulcan might be looking to get something done down here.
Yeah, looking for a 3-man dive here potentially. They do have Thanatos to tank this one up, so we'll see if they can set up the play well. Fudge now level 7, gonna have to try to outplay this. Pops the ulti early, nice flash back, buying some space and some time for himself, but he's gonna get knocked up and he's gonna get knocked down. First blood grabbed by Blaber.
That's going to really help Thanatos in C9 here because he's going to get free time on this turret. Fudge already has no teleport because they've done the lane swap initially. So another free wave, another wave's going to be lost. Thanatos could take this plate, could just go for some tempo, but it's going to give him quite a nice lead.
Yeah, Zven could be in some trouble. We'll see if he can avoid the tangle barbs. Cannot. Seoul just walks it in. Zven will pop the barrier, loses a lot of health here, but decides to hold on to the flash, though he is dangerously low.
Yeah, he's going to have to back off. They don't yet have a wave to be able to push in. So he should be able to back, especially since now Vulcan and Blaber are both here to kind of cover it. And Vulcan might be looking for a wraparound here.
Yeah, made his way top pretty fast. It's the Sion Bard crew.
Yeah, Thanatos is up here, and Zeus is quite low. Of course, most of that damage was from Vulcan earlier. He was just kind of hiding that he was low HP because of that Neeko clone. And quietly, Blaber obviously had that great early farm, goes down bot, gets first blood. He is working quickly towards this Triforce, and when you get a really fast Triforce here on the Wukong, you are so strong in the team fights because you're in this position as a jungler where you can just kind of solo out one of the carries. You can pull off that dive and be able to 100-0 someone like Bvoy or Palafox if they are not ready for it.
Yeah, completely agree. Getting the first Drake as well going to allow Cloud9 to buy a little bit of time. So a much better start, first 8 minutes of Game 2 than it was in Game 1 for Cloud9. Game 1, they were able to just force fight after fight, catch Shopify when Shopify wasn't grouped. And honestly, when we look at these team compositions, I still see a lot of engage by C9. So they still have a lot of trigger pull from every individual member. And I wonder if we're going to see a different, more grouping from Shopify. Because Azael, you were talking in between games about how when games like that happen, that's why you see 5v5s happen over and over again. Because Shopify, every time they try to set up like the correct play, they just get engaged on as 5 by C9 and lose the game.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you're watching a game, you're like, well, why are they just 5-man mid? Like, you don't need to group out here. Push out top lane first. Push out bot lane first. That's kind of what Shopify was trying to do. Always push their waves before the move. But Cloud9 would just preempt the play, be able to find hard engages. And so, yeah, it will be interesting to see if Shopify does kind of slingshot back in the other direction. We're like, well, that didn't work. Let's just group 5. Yeah. Because that can punish you as well. You have to try to make the right play, and it is a difficult game, League of Legends.
Just a little bit.
Blaber's down here on this bottom side, and his ultimate is now back ready. So we'll see if they want to look for any sort of a play, but for now, we'll just be able to take away the one camp and then heading back to his side of the map.
Look at that pesky Neeko clone. This is exactly why Neeko's banned so much.
Annoying.
It's because of this feature where you can spam your emotes to extend the life of the clone and get vision pretty much the whole game, because he's already got it back with how often he's able to go check vision.
And the moving Neeko recall thing that you can do with this used to not be allowed in pro play.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they changed the rules to allow it. Like, it is actually, I think it shouldn't be allowed,
Why did
personally.
We bring it back?
Because it is crazy that you can drop it at your tier 1 tower and scout out their tier 1 tower. Like, it is a ridiculous amount of distance. And yeah, that is a really big part of why it is so popular in pro play. Like you said, it's something that's harder to appreciate when you're not in the game and we have full vision of everything.
Yes.
But it allows you to scout out areas that otherwise you would have no business being able to check.
Yeah, and as we see,
pretty good.
Look
Check
at that.
out the side brush. Oh, there's a pink ward
a
there.
ward in
Okay.
there.
Oh,
We'll know that
no.
for later. Now we can go check it for sure because we know no one's there. Very
annoying.
potent.
Definitely makes it really hard to play around. It's also one of the reasons that you see champions like this that for a long time you always just saw pretty much tanks as support, and people would always talk about, well, you can't actually play enchanters because playing for vision is so hard.
Yep, can't face
Neeko
check.
is allowed to do this and allowed to be this mage kind of like engaged style champion that can play support because of this trick where you can actually be able to play for vision without exposing yourself to getting engaged on.
And it's pretty crucial towards this Drake setup, right? As we see the clone going through again.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it in the observers, you see how often
It's criminal.
Yeah,
It's criminal.
Exactly, because there was a point, right, where C9 had a ton of vision just all in here. And Shopify have actually been able to get a lot of that out. So they should still be able to at least have sight of the Drake on spawn. We'll see if they want to go for
Teleport
it
from
as
Sylas.
TP's
Oh, they're
coming
behind
in.
him. Palafox doesn't see it. They don't actually know they're getting teleported on. They will see the ball going over top, and now the flash comes out. Palafox used the ult to disengage, but he's going to actually be immune there by Loki, who now shuffles him back. The abscond abduct was timed perfectly to ricochet himself back as he was pushed away by the ulti, and then he just nails Palafox. That was clean from Loki.
Clean setup and absolutely beautiful execution coming in from Loki. His Sylas is going to be really, really crucial for C9 in a lot of these fights, stealing the engage. He has a plethora of great ults to choose from, right, in all of these team fights. And that set play allows C9 to get on the board with their early Drake stacking here.
Yeah, most of the work done here by Loki. The Bard ult burns the flash. He times his E2 perfectly to immune the Azir ultimate. Then, for good measure, sends Palafox back with his own ult. And even though all the work was then kind of done by Vulcan and Loki, Blaber's the one who gets the kill. He's now 2-0 with a full Trinity Force and 2 Drakes on Wukong.
Yeah, it's a pretty good record on Wukong too. 11-4, 4.2 KDA. Not bad. Pretty good.
Looking good. The team fighting going to be difficult to deal with. So many ways to engage, as we have touched on, and now with no flash on Palafox, you really probably don't want to be fighting for the next couple minutes here because all of the flashes are available on the other side, and they are very likely to be able to find you.
I love how observers are just tracking the clone now.
I mean, it really hammers
is,
home how
yeah.
strong it is, right? Like, vision is such an important part of the game, but it is one of the things where if you're not playing and you're just watching, it is the hardest thing to appreciate, I would say. And that's one of the things that when you're playing against some of these top level teams, it can feel so suffocating. You can never see where you can go, where is safe, where is not. And Neeko really does circumvent a lot of that by being able to always check out entire areas. Sometimes when you're positioning it well, you can clear out multiple brushes with one clone.
Yeah, and looking at Shopify in this game, they're definitely going to have to be a little bit creative in how they get back into it. So far, it's pretty much just been an objective game. I'd say they lost game 1 on objectives as well, and their actual trigger pull isn't nearly as good as what C9 has. So yes, they're getting tons of vision with this Neeko, but to actually engage with this like little level 6 support Neeko is very weak. Azir, no flash, he die when he flies in. Skarner needs a little bit of setup, so they don't have like great ways of actually starting fights outside of objectives.
Yeah, and again, that's where I am going to be looking at what C9 are going to do with Loki. And then additionally, the fact that they were able to get those first 2 Drakes like we talked about, right? So that's a really, really good start for C9, objective-wise as well.
You can also see Thanatos is going to be going towards a more aggressive item here, expecting it to be that Titanic. Though, of course, he could still be going for something else. But, stop for the Bramble Vest here against the Aatrox and then going in towards the Titanic is just so nice. It makes it so your wave clear is just absolutely insane. Like, you are just one-shotting these waves, and it gives you a ton of upfront burst in a team fight. If you can get in on someone with the ulti, Q auto, Titanic auto reset, it is a crazy amount of upfront damage, and Titanic already done, so now, even if you get to a point where you can't win the 1v1, you always just one-shot the wave, and Fudge is never going to be able to really get push.
Titanic Hydra, the carry player's tank item. It's just feels so good for Thanatos. And at the same time, like, tanks aren't effective unless they can provide some level of threat. As Contractz goes
nice
for a
flash
fight.
in. Oh, great denial there from Vulcan with the Tempered Fate. Buys a lot of time. Loki is coming here. Here comes the turnaround from Seoul. Gets a nice ulti across multiple members, but they don't have the damage just yet. Loki gets a kill there. It is 2 for 0 for Cloud9. Vulcan bought so much time.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. Fudge was trying to TP flank from behind. He might end up dying here as well. He will have to probably burn his flash or ult to get away. Just a disaster there from Shopify, and well turned by C9.
Really, really nice play from Vulcan. You can see why. Did you know that Bard is actually the 4th most banned champion against C9 thus far?
I did not.
This split, yeah. So, and we've had some great Bard plays from him, including that
Okay, they
one.
flash on me. Get ready to ult, okay?
Okay, okay. I'm shooting, still shooting.
Coming. Yeah, look here. It's good, it's good, it's good. It's got no flash.
I don't know flash, okay? Coming now. Play slow, play slow. Here, Neeko, okay, Neeko. Neeko.
It's gonna be good fight, guys.
Yeah, no cons, it's good, it's good. Yeah, nice. No cons. Ulti him. Yeah, he's stuck.
Wow, that is actually sick to hear that lesson in there. Blaber perfectly predicted the play. He said, get ready to Bard ult me if they flash on me here. Walks up, finds the play. Loki now looking for Palafox here, trying to get aggressive. Showed he had the Kai'Sa ult, but he actually had the Neeko one there. I wonder if is that a clone thing where if he's cloned into Kai'Sa and you steal the Neeko ult, it shows it as Kai'Sa ult? Because that showed that he had the Kai'Sa ult, but he actually had the Neeko ult, which kind of threw me through a loop a little bit. And Loki gets a kill onto Palafox in the side lane again. He is now 1.4k up.
Yeah, and again, this is why I really wanted to point out Loki on this Sylas. He's already been absolutely massive for the team. Going back to that comms listen-in, though, that was exactly like Blaber drew it up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he drew up that play.
Had him downloaded.
Yeah,
locked in.
That was great.
I mean,
was crazy.
He's just locked in, and sometimes you get little snippets of that from like the top players that win time and time again, is they'll be able to do these things. Like, it's one thing to find a good engage, it's the other thing to tell your team in advance that you're going to find a good engage, because you can get everybody on the same page and things can be so much more well coordinated. And now C9 is just going wherever they want on the map. They've cleared bottom turret. We have a super fed Sylas. Blaber is just controlling this game.
Blaber
40 CS advantage.
Yeah, Blaber was driving in there. Contractz was trying to see if he could find an angle on the blast gun. Couldn't find it.
Yeah, and as you see, Sylas is actually also able to push in on this bot side as well. Really, really nice from C9, and Blaber will also be at least having a look at this Drake. Yeah, it doesn't look like Shopify are going to go.
It's pretty uncontestable. And I will also say, this composition, I know Sniper said that he would prefer the Shopify side, probably because of some of the lane matchups of Aatrox into Sion, probably from a top lane perspective. But if I'm looking at this from a Kai'Sa perspective, I hate this. Not only are you outranged in lane phase by the Varus, but the snap engaged champs that the Kai'Sa thrives on don't really exist. Like, there's nothing where you can have a flank, get CC down, and have the Kai'Sa fly in on the backside. So he's just, if they are going to have a trigger pull, it is so slow, and when they are behind now 3 Drakes and 3,000 gold, it just becomes even harder to create.
Vulcan just popped the Spellbook Ghost here, so they're going to be looking for a play. Thanatos is deep on this teleport here in the backline, taking up the whole squad right now. In comes the rest of C9, as Thanatos has to use the ulti to exit. Fudge going to get tagged there by the Tempered Fate. Can they find the engage afterwards? No. Not able to find the timing, but now it's going to be Contractz potentially in some trouble. The Chains of Corruption did connect on him, but he is put quite low. Loki threatening on the side, but can't really commit into the midst of everyone there from Shopify, so they should be able to walk it out.
We were wondering what kind of tank player Thanatos is going to be.
I'm still not sold on Azael. He looks good this game, but I will say that's definitely the I'm a Fed Renekton TP angle, where I'm just going to go into the middle of the whole team and hope to fight my way out. C9... hope they could get a play with that tank, that flank TP, end up getting a little bit of map pressure and backing away because the play didn't look quite right.
And you can tell Vulcan thinking, well, the only way we're going to lose this game is if they find some sort of really engage, maybe a good Tangle Barbs. So he's grabbed a Mikhail's already here. You know, there's not that many things that you're really going to be able to use it on, but Skarner stunning you into a wall, Seos getting you with the Tangle Barbs. Those are 2 potential engage tools that they have. And he is going to be able to answer that. Plus, we didn't obviously touch on it until just we saw him popping the Ghost, but Spellbook is always really nice for that additional utility. He is playing Flash Shield, but you can swap that over to an Ignite or an Exhaust or a Cleanse or whatever. There is some pretty nice usage there with this, especially as it gets later on into the game.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed seeing Spellbook since...
It's a really cool summoner.
Yeah, since its buffs kind of creeping back into pro play. Especially in the support position, but we've seen it elsewhere as well. I just really like the flexibility, as you already called out, that it gives you. And, you know, I think Vulcan is a player who will definitely be able to make the most of that.
Yeah, currently in this game, he's used 4 unique summoner spells with the spellbook, so the swap cooldown's down to 140 seconds. It will get even lower if he's able to use 6. So, yeah, we like it on Bard. We were talking before the show as well. We like it on a lot of tank matchups when you're in tank versus ranged. Even something like a Sejuani when you're up against a Trundle and you can't take Aftershock. I think we're going to see a lot more of it. The one that I want to see is the TF spellbook. I think that has its place in the current meta in
He's coming
Fearless.
back.
Ooh, Thanatos has no teleport, so Shopify saw him topside. They are trying to force their hand, but he does have the ultimate to join if they stick to this. It is down to half HP. Theos looking for the ulti. Can't actually find it on Loki, and now Loki has the soul and ultimate, so I think it's time to run here. Contract's going to get caught out, and C9 are keeping Aatox on leash, but in comes Thanatos. Contract's going to get knocked down. He did find the ulti, but nothing happening after that. It's looking like it's an easy secure on the Aatox for Cloud9.
Beautifully done by C9. Blaber looking for a little bit more on the back end. Does get stuffed and pulled back by Aatrox, but it's all about playing the slow game here for C9. They got the Aatox. Loki left, so Thanatos has to run.
Yeah, Thanatos is running. Bvoy going to be ulting in there. Palafox comes in. They are going to lose Thanatos. He had no ulti. Just kind of overstaying his welcome as Loki TP'd out. You know, Blaber had left. They are pushing mid. Just positioning too aggressively, a little bit overconfident.
Yeah, I mean, Thanatos definitely did not have to die there. But on the other side of the map, as we can see, Loki Sylas cleaning up that top tier 1 turret. And I think the big thing is that they basically waited out Seos' ult, right? Like, he was not able, he was kind of waiting there in the brush as they were trying to get down this Aatox. Didn't end up working out, and that gives his ult immediately to Loki, right? Like,
Protobelt for Protobelt. Just responded to it.
Man, Loki's playing so clean this game from the very first kill where he immuned the Azir ultimate. But once they had the Neeko ult and the Bard ult to catch out Shopify, it was just a really well-played sequence as they get the Aatox and the kill onto Contractz. It's a mid-jungle gap so far. 4,000 gold cumulatively is their advantage between jungle and mid.
Yeah, and I'll be super curious to see this upcoming Drake setup as well, because as we already discussed, C9 got on that early Drake stacking. Yeah. They are on Soul Point, essentially forcing Shopify to have to come in and contest this Infernal Soul.
And Infernal Soul is a nightmare against teams that they're already far ahead, and especially against Poke Varus. The amount of Poke is going to be really difficult to deal with. You can see C9 all here want to be there as a 5-man squad, ready and waiting for Shopify as they try to walk in.
See, I probably want to pull the trigger.
Blaber's going to actually look here. No clone available. They force out the flash from Bvoy. It's Blaber in the back line, though. He's going to be able to knock down Seos with some help from Zven over the wall. Next is Fudge on the chopping block as Loki's going to get in the back line. Steals the Azir ult. The Bard ult does not connect, but neither does Palafox's ult over the wall. Loki going to flash in, and he scoops them all in to knock them all down. What an ultimate from Loki. They're taking over the fight. Fudge trying to make it happen, but he can't even get one. Cloud9, 7K ahead. They're going to grab the soul. What a fight from Loki.
What an ultimate from Loki. What a fight from Loki. What a game from Loki. He is having an amazing showing on this Sylas, and it really starts, again, they've done such a good job of tracking where Seos is going to be as well, kind of waiting out for when he can use this ultimate. He pops this ultimate, lands only on Blaber, immediately gets blown up, and that takes so much away from their team fighting power, as we see in, I believe, live. We're also...
Oh my goodness, they're so on the same page as well. Immediately following up on that Azir ultimate. Doesn't matter, the Contractz can get the ultimate. Too little, too late. 5-4-0 in this one.
Nice. Loki, nice.
Nice.
You know what?
Loki was smurfing there, and that is a rare situation where they actually used the clone against Seos because they saw it coming out of that brush, so Blaber immediately knew he was going to be there, and also they didn't have it to disengage from his own engage. So I thought that was actually really well played, utilizing that against Seos. And Loki did play that so well. You could see Palafox use his ultimate, anticipating that the chains would actually connect onto him, and he would time it to knock him away as the abduct came through. But it actually missed, so he ended up using his ultimate for nothing. Then didn't have that to peel, and now Loki looking to chase him down. Palafox will be able to knock him down, but there's the abscond, there's the abduct, there's a solo kill. 5-0-5 for Loki. He's running away with this one.
And C9 running away with the game on the backs of Loki, but I mean, on the back of the entire team, right? Like, especially this mid-jungle duo specifically. Blaber, we already talked about how great of a start he got off to as well. And here's the replay that distracted me from the excellent Azir ult that Loki had on the back half of that fight, where he's coming through again and using the ultimate against him.
Even killed the clone for the extra gold. Plus 25.
He cannot be stopped. 4,000 gold lead. I mean, this definitely has you looking towards game 3 if you're Shopify. Like, yes, you want to play until the final buzzer, but my goodness, are you far behind. 10,000 gold down, Infernal Soul gold down. I'd say the unheralded hero of this game, I know we've given Loki, Blaber a lot of credit. Vulcan's Bard ultimates have been crucial in almost every play.
And he's been involved in almost everything.
Yeah, it was the original fights. It was these team fights where he's zoning them extremely well. 11 of the 13 kill participation is the highest on the entire team. Hello.
Oh, Thanatos waiting. Seos is going to be in trouble. There's that damage, and imagine if he didn't actually have the bulwark. A little bit too tanky to be able to 100-0 him, but Cloud9 looking strong here over on that Baron. It's being two-manned right now by Zven and Blaber. The rest of the squad is just kind of zoning them off. It is going to be spotted now there by the Void Seeker from Bvoy as Contractz is trying to walk in, but he just can't get through. And I mean, great, you fan Thanatos, but he is way too tanky to really threaten at this point. And now Loki is just fighting Fudge on the side, and Fudge is running back to the tower, but nowhere is safe against Loki. Contractz going to get ulted up there by Vulcan. They've got the Baron, and now they've got the kill as well. In goes Seos. He's going to be able to get that ulti over onto Zven, and Zven is going to be shut down. Blaber in the backline looking for Palafox, can't quite find him, but Loki arrived, and we know how that goes now. Loki is godlike. He is crushing them. Back-to-back fights. Loki is just taking over.
This is one of those games that's so fun you don't want it to end if you're Loki. Because you're so rarely this strong where anywhere you go, you can just solo kill what's in front of you.
Oh, he's going to get another one. Palafox, you're in the wrong spot now, my man. The absconded duck does not connect, but he has another one already. He's going to go in. He's going to be able to get another solo kill under the inhibitor tower. Loki is eating good in game number 2.
Oh my gosh, what a fantastic game from Loki. And what a fantastic, again, use of the Sylas angle. I really, really like what C9 put together compositionally as a whole here. And then how they've been playing with it has just been amazing.
Yes, C9 are eating good. You know where you could be eating good? At Regal Cinemas, where there's going to be a watch party tomorrow. You can get yourself a nice bucket of popcorn, maybe some candies, whatever you like, a giant soda, and you can watch the finals with some friends. And there's going to be giveaways for skins and all kinds of different stuff there. Scan the QR code on screen, and maybe we'll see you there.
Winner of this series versus FlyQuest. Currently, it's looking like C9 if this game is any
it's looking like Loki. It's the winner of this series.
It really is, man. I can't believe he hasn't upgraded to a Soul Stealer yet. So he's still in control of his item build. 4 full items as well as a 10-stack Dark Seal. Level 18 Sylas at 28 minutes.
4-level lead
unreal.
in mid lane, plus a 6.5k gold lead. He's a little bit strong.
Also Infernal Soul.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're definitely killing that guy, that's for sure. Shopify going to have to try to pull off a miracle here, but it's hard to even draw up the play that could get them back. Bard ulti does come through. Contractz flashing forward, does connect onto Vulcan. Loki looking for the engage, so he's in the back line. And Loki just snaps back over on Contractz, knocks him down. Fudge pops the ulti. You can see on the side, Seoul is going to be able to ult Blaber in the well, but even with them getting knocked in the fountain, they can't kill Blaber. Seoul's the last man standing, but not for long. It looks like they want to try to dive him. The Nexus falls first, 23-2. Cloud9 moving to match point.